part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster. This is the podcast where funny people get together to recap MCU films to either prepare you for the next Marvel movie or just putz around and talk about nonsensical films, such as a magic wizard. Today, we're going to be talking about the Marvel movie Doctor Strange, a.k.a. Where's Watson? If you get it, you're laughing. Joining me on this journey of this strange journey, dare I say, is Chicago and Boston and Chicago's own Nate Gold. Nate Gold, welcome to the podcast, please.
Oh my God. Thank you, Damon. Wow. I do consider myself Chicago's, but Boston, I don't know. Have I earned the privilege of, it's just where I was born, but
yeah, you keep going back.
I do keep going back, but, I don't know if I should be proud of that or not.
It's a journey for us all. So good to see you, Nate. Dear friend, dear funny friend. So when I sent out a Google form, you selected that you were a Marvel expert. What right do you have to call yourself such?
Honestly, every single right there is. I have loved superheroes for forever. Like when I was a kid, it was, I'll say this, the animated series, this is the series of
saying it right,
Batman, which I know is DC, but Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, like that was everything to me. And I really loved Spider-Man was like my top favorite. And X-Men, like I read the comic books when I was like growing up. And then the MCU happened. And funny enough, like I did see like Iron Man in theaters, but then it wasn't until like I started realizing, these are all connected. Like after, I don't know, it was somewhere around the Infinity Stone stuff that I was like, I need to watch some of these because I had watched like the ones I picked and chose. So what did I watch? I had seen Iron Man. I had never seen Captain America until like doing a full rewatch, and I had seen like Avengers, and then I was like, okay, I'm missing a lot of plot points here. So I've gone back. I do a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube viewing, and a lot of just personal journeys to really consider myself an expert at this point.
I love it. You have to put in the research. This franchise requires you got to do a little bit of work to get those good feels. Those good Marvel feels.
Absolutely.
Love it. Glad you're here. We are foregoing a newbie chair. Too many catastrophes happened. So it's just us.
Honestly, I think it's perfect. First of all, our repartee is always top notch.
It's fucking fire. It's fire.
Yes. But I also, Doctor Strange is one that like, in the MCU I'm familiar with. In the comics, I had to like Wikipedia this before going on and be like, what? Just because I'm like, I don't know anything about him.
Seriously. I'm going to start. So like I said, we're talking about Doctor Strange. Let's start off with the plot synopsis from RottenTomatoes.com. And the plot reads as follows. Dr. Stephen Strange, his life changes after a car accident robs him of the use of his hands. When traditional medicine fails him, he looks for healing and hope in a mysterious Enclave. He quickly learns that the Enclave is at the front line of a battle against unforeseen dark forces bent on destroying reality. Before long, Strange is forced to choose between his life of fortune and status, or leave it all behind to defend the world as the most powerful sorcerer in existence. So much.
Beautiful. That was gorgeous.
Simply poetry. Thank you, RottenTomatoes.com. So, Nate, what... You're already talking about it. Like, tell us your journey with Doctor Strange before watching and after.
Okay, so this was one of those like things where I was like, I know nothing about this. I didn't see in theaters. I like usually was like, I can always watch it at home. But if I didn't know about the superhero, I was like, why should I care? Again, I've changed my tune. I now feel very differently. But yeah, my journey with Doctor Strange, I didn't know. I had seen it for the first time, like whenever, I think it was on Netflix or something, in my own home, which it would be cool to see this movie in theaters with all the effects and like the trippiness of it all. And it's funny. Yeah, I my journey with it is I find this movie fun. I do have some questions.
Oh, that's why we're here.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we get into the Tilda Swinton of it all. I mean, how can we not?
Oh, we're going to talk about Tilda. We need to talk about Tilda.
Yeah. So until this movie, I really could not tell you anything much about Doctor Strange. He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. And off the bat, I really just want to say, I do not like my magic in my superheroes. It feels like, for me, there's a separation of church and state, because I am one of those nerds. I really like to separate fantasy from science fiction. And, your fantasy is your Buffy, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. And, your sci-fi is your Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, Star Trek. And I always think of like superheroes in that sci-fi realm because, a lot of these people are getting their powers through like science experiments gone wrong, or they built a mechanical armor suit. But this is just full on, it's magic.
It's magic. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Because I do love like when there's magic maybe that makes a superhero and there's like a little bit of mysticism behind it, but it's not, that's more the origin story, less so the actual superhero. Yeah. But like, give me your X-Men that are just born with a mutated gene. Give me like your Spider-Man that's bitten by the spider. I agree. That is like for more what superheroes are made of. So I did appreciate that they kind of made this, like, they even said like the Avengers like stop the world from like attacks or like, like physical attacks. We are the mystical attacks. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, at least they're kind of addressing the fact that this is a little different.
Yes. And they also, God, I'm just going to nerd out with you, Nate.
Yes, please do. I love it.
I forget. Did you watch the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No. Okay. We've had conversations about this because you told me to watch it. Somebody else, I've been like told to watch multiple times. Brendan Tran told, yes, dear friend, Brendan Tran. Also, I would say he probably is an expert as well.
Oh yeah.
But I tried to watch it like in the pandemic, and it's just like, I could not get too into it. I've heard I have to like get past the first season and it gets really good.
Oh, Nate, it's even worse. You have to get past the first 4 seasons before it gets good.
You told me that. And I was like, I can't commit to that right now. I've got a lot on my plate.
But all that,
which is just watching other TV.
Yeah. All that to say is that in, I think the 4th season, it's like that season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is when Doctor Strange was coming out. And they were kind of talking about magic, and like even the book that Agatha had in WandaVision, that was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they did this thing that Doctor Strange also did, where they basically are saying like magic is just a certain kind of math that if you can like,
yeah. Okay. See, now I really have a problem with that.
We are.
Because no, magic is magic. Because I think there was like, magic is not math. Magic is magic. And like, okay, Spider-Man No Way Home, I loved that, like when he's in the mirror dimension or when like Doctor Strange does that whole train stuff and he's like, wait a minute, this is just I don't know, parallelograms. That's not what he said, but he was like, he used math
geometry. Yes, he's geometry.
He used and this is what I love in my superhero films, learning.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that I get. That's like nature, and like there's kaleidoscopy things but magic is magic. Magic, you can't logic it away. That's like what Tilda Swinton's all about in this movie. Famous magician Tilda Swinton.
Known magician Tilda Swinton did all of her own magic stunts.
No one would be surprised. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
She starts, making that circle with her fingers, opening a portal. It's like, oh, Tilda just showed up to the Oscars. Hey, Tilda.
Yeah, we cannot explain magic away though.
No,
it's the Tilda Swinton law.
Before we get into Tilda, my next question for you, Nate. Well, how did this do as an origin story for you? Because this is something I think Marvel does pretty well. They're pretty good at setting up heroes. Yeah,
I thought this was a really good one. So I rewatched it. I've seen it now probably like I think 3 times. In just like in the span of my Marvel viewings, and not knowing anything about Doctor Strange, like after this last viewing, I like Wikipedia just to be like, oh, is there like anything that they just completely made up? And it seems like every time it's like, okay, yes, that whole origin story, like him losing his hands, him finding mysticism, that seems to be very on point in just terms of like comic accuracy, but in terms of also a movie, I'm like, ooh, this was fun to watch. Like the good character, arrogant,
very
overachiever who just like switches from technical to magical. I liked it. I thought I was very, very 2 thumbs up.
Yes. But I will say, because he's so proficient in medicine, that makes him so proficient in magic. It again solidifies that idea that magic is math.
Well, I did like that he's like, I have a photographic memory, so I'm good at spells because I'm good at like studying. But was he like, I'm really good with a calculator? No. He's like, I'm really good with words.
Famously, there are no calculators in this movie. Absolutely none.
That's true. Not even an abacus, which like in this setting, you'd think there would be that.
I think there'd be some kind of abacate.
Abacate.
Yeah. Let's see. My next question for you. Doctor Strange. As an origin story, I think it's really great. I really love origin stories where it's like, am I even watching a Marvel movie in like the first 15 minutes? I just love how they can like still find pockets of this universe that have not been touched by like Thanos or Loki or anything. Like, it's just like, this is his world and he's still just a person. And he slowly, like, I like that he discovered the magic. Like, it wasn't just like easy for him to find.
Yeah, they really don't even like reference. They do reference, but they don't like overtly like talk about anything except for when she's like talking about the difference between Sorcerer Supreme and the Avengers. It's like it's the Shang-Chi effect. Like, I forgot I was watching a Marvel. Like, I was like, this is a Marvel movie, but it could be its own thing.
Yeah.
And I do like that too. And I do like that, like, you can tie it in, like the end. They're just like, oh yeah, well, carrying around an Infinity Stone, everyone.
Hint.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. That's what makes a good origin story is the, like, does it stand alone?
Yeah. Speaking of standing alone or not standing alone, I want to talk about this love thing of Regina George and Sherlock Holmes finally getting together.
I love Rachel McAdams. Could you imagine if I said anything differently?
I mean, it might be what I'm going to say.
Okay, well, let me just say.
She's a mean girl.
So, she is a mean girl, but I was like, oh man, the acting from Christine Palmer, Regina George's character, and Regina George being Rachel McAdams. I was like, wow, this is actually a compelling person. I have heard people complain like she wasn't utilized enough, which sure, very true. She really was kind of just, well, his heart, like the What If episode. But
I mean,
but I don't know. I was she necessary? Probably not.
I mean, here's my thing. I think, because first of all, I think Marvel does love stories terribly. I think they're not good at romance. I've never been like, ooh, I really want this couple to get together.
Not even Star-Lord and Gamora, Chris Pratt aside.
They're fine. And I like Tony and Pepper. So those two.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's it. Peggy, whatever.
Oh, that was sweet. But like, yeah, she also is more of, I'll say I haven't watched many of the shows like Agents of, or like Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
But I would say with this couple, Doctor Strange and Christine, I like them, but I like them. How do I explain this? I root for them not to be together. Like I get pleasure from the idea of them breaking up. And like, it's just, they're not compatible, but I think they're not compatible, but I think they're compelling to watch.
Oh yeah. I did not feel any feelings when he was like, I gotta go do my magic and you gotta go do your surgery.
I got magic to do.
Bye, baby. No, agreed. But I am curious to see, like, cause I was just like thinking about it while I was watching. I was like, okay, I know she's going to be in the next movie, which I'm interested in because it's like, really, she's just disappeared, and she's disappeared because it's like, she's not really part of his story beyond he knew her when he was not a wizard. And so like, I'm and then what if they made her like this big, like huge part of his life?
Right.
Like he was so in love with her, which maybe it does seem that, but I don't know, he was an asshole to her. So I was like, yeah, you shouldn't get back together. He treated you like shit.
Yeah, well, two things. I think it wasn't until this last viewing when I watched it for this podcast that I realized that they were exes. Like they already had a love affair. That didn't even come across to me the first 2 times I had watched it. And then the other thing is that I think like what you're saying, how like, you know, in other iterations, she's becoming much more important, like in the what if thing and like in the trailer for the next movie. I feel like this is also a part of my evolution with Doctor Strange. Cause like, I also was like you, I didn't watch this movie in theaters. I watched it also when it was on Netflix and I didn't really care for him, but I think they've done such a great job of growing his character in the Avengers movies and especially in the Spider-Man movie that like now I'm like really excited for the sequel. And I think there is, and I feel like the same is true for like Wanda and Vision. I feel like that they introduce these characters, but then they like subtly let them grow. And like, now I'm like excited for their next adventures, you know?
100%. And it's funny, like I think I've like read or seen like Doctor Strange is kind of the leading force of this phase 4, just in the sense of like the Iron Man, you know, it's also like a big name actor wise, but I completely agree. I still like after seeing this movie, it wasn't like, oh, I need more Doctor Strange. But then Infinity War, Infinity War is when I will keep watching over and over. It's like I put it on when I just don't know what else to do because it's just so fun.
Yeah, and everybody's in it.
Yeah, everybody. Wow, I never thought about that. It's just no, but he's fun and like you're right. Spider-Man has like Spider-Man's like connection to these people that have make them more like have to like kind of like adult up in a way. But I completely agree. It's same with like, I love me, and you know this, I love me a strong female superhero character like the Buffy Summers. I love that more than anything. And you know,
happy 25 years.
We talk. Yeah. Happy 25 years. I had only known like just kind of getting off topic with like Scarlet Witch. I was like, again, when Age of Ultron came out, it was one I kind of skipped because I was like, I don't know these people that much.
You can skip it.
Yeah. Although going back, I'm like, it's not terrible. Although let's not talk about Joss Whedon.
Who must not be named.
Yeah. But I was like, WandaVision was one of the best things I've ever seen. I feel like it was so good because of exactly that. And people were like, it was slow. I'm like, no, they did it. We've gotten into fights about it, Damon. I feel like
me.
Well, we got into fights because you didn't like the like superhero aspects as much.
This is not me. This cannot be me.
Okay. This is not. You know what? That's not.
We're not here to talk about WandaVision. This is not the WandaVision podcast.
But anyways, yes, Doctor Strange, Wanda, Vision, all these people. You're like, oh, they kind of just seem one note have developed. And so going back to it, this was a great origin story because like he was very one note. He was a cocky lawyer or. Sorry, I watched a different movie. He was a cocky surgeon, and now I'm
just imagining Doctor Strange as a lawyer, like opening portals to like, and now my next honestly, witness is coming to us now.
That would be very good, and I would watch that. But yeah, he's grown on me. I like that he's like cocky through this whole movie too. I like the characters in this movie. I love Wong. I think Wong should get so much more attention in the next one.
Yeah. I'll bring up Wong later. I have a Wong thought, but not, a Wong thought, not a wrong thought, a Wong thought. But Nate, I think it's time we have to talk about Tilda. We have to talk about Tilda. Can you set up what's wrong with Tilda?
Okay, so in the comic books, the Ancient One, who like is a character of like it's like same kind of role. This like person who taught Doctor Strange is I don't know too much, but it is an Asian man.
Yes.
So I'm all for gender bending. That is fun to me, but we do not. Tilda Swinton, famously not an Asian man. We do not need to like whitewash more people. And like also thinking about phase 1 and 2, there like it's just the controversy was just that.
Yeah.
It is the classic taking a character, a POC character, and then putting a white character in its place. And while I do love Tilda Swinton, and I think she did a great job.
I don't want her to play anyone else. She did good. but like,
yeah,
she shouldn't have been put in this position.
It's like, why would they made it like they like reference she's Celtic. They just like changed everything, which I don't really see the point in that.
Well,
so that's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. I feel like, because like when this was being filmed, this was like around that like Hillary's definitely going to win the election. And I feel like it was a time.
Yeah, it was 2016.
Yeah. And I feel like it was a time where they were like, oh, let's diversify by putting a woman in this role, but they still went with a white woman. So it was like, I don't know if you're doing what you think you're doing.
And this was like this did get backlash. It did. Like people were pissed, and rightfully so. And also like it was just around the same time as Scarlett Johansson also was like, they did the same thing with her. I can't remember what the movie was, but it was another movie. I think something like Ghost in the Shell or something like that, where it's like it was an Asian character that they replaced with a white woman. So it's weird. It is weird that like the only like this took place in Nepal, and like the only character that was like the only Asian character we saw was Wong. Actually, now I think about it.
I mean, there was that one guy that Doctor Strange assumed was the ancient one.
Yes.
And I was like, why couldn't that man have been the ancient one? Right. Why did we need this bait and switch? Yeah,
even Disney there was like, oh yeah, we know this does not fit. Like Tilda Swinton does not fit the bill of the ancient one.
I mean,
we're doubling down.
Oh yeah, I really think they thought they were doing something cool by making it a woman, making the ancient one a woman, and they also thought, hey, we got a big name of Tilda Swinton, for which in my mind she's 2 ticks away from Meryl Streep, so they're like, we got a big one.
It just surprises me because Disney doesn't usually make controversial choices like this.
No, they've been pretty great from beginning to end. I mean, no issues.
I cannot think of one example where Disney has, I don't know, just really done something that makes you go, ooh.
And the best part about it,
that's not okay.
The best part, Disneyland and World, the same. No updates needed. Everything is totally the same.
But just for the record, everyone, we're being sarcastic.
Yes. See, at Podcast 616, we enjoy sarcasm to emphasize our point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I won't get canceled. Not today.
Oh my God. To get canceled for expressing my thoughts on a podcast, like, get out of here.
Also, yeah, I don't know.
Tilda Swinton, you broke Nate Gold.
Tilda Swinton, you broke Nate Gold. Okay, but it was fun to watch Tilda Swinton with this big yellow cloak.
Oh yeah, she looked cool, and like I loved. Oh God, we didn't. Maybe after break we'll talk about the fights, but like I loved her.
Yes,
like her like. She had like the orange fan things in the beginning. She's like folding the buildings on each other on themselves. And like,
oh my God, so cool.
And like, I did like her relationship with Doctor Strange. I feel like they had a good, wait, can I do a Tilda impression? Let me see if I can do my ancient one. Stephen Strange, you can't understand what we're trying to accomplish.
That was pretty good.
I mean, I could do a good Tilda.
I know I can't top that because she was British, right?
Honestly, I've been asking that about Tilda Swinton her whole career.
I don't know. That was pretty good. Yeah. Tilda, it was problematic. It was upsetting. I do like that Disney has tried is putting more POC and like diversity in this superhero films. That is really cool to watch. I'm very excited for the character of America Chavez coming up in in Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
And like I would like to keep seeing that, but it does also feel like I just like I don't know.
Well, we have some complicated feelings. We're going to take a break right now. I'll throw it to break as Tilda Swinton. So Podcast 616 will return with more thoughts on Doctor Strange. This is Tilda Swinton.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Books like Stephen King's The Shining or Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you're on the hunt for book recommendations and enjoy sparkling conversation, come read along with us and then listen in.
Hello, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of the Producing While Asian podcast. Join us to listen in on conversations with everyone who identify from producers to non-producers who all are part of the AAPI community. There's all that and more on the Producing While Asian podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hi, my name is Sam Post, owner of Phenomenal CBD Store and PhenomenalCBD.com. That's like phenomenal, CBD.com. Tune in where we talk with experts about how the amazing hemp plant can make a difference for people's health and well-being from the Press Play Podcast Network.
And welcome back, everyone, to Podcast 616. So, Nate, we're going to talk about all the other ancillary characters. Let's talk about this villain played by Mads Mikkelsen. How do you say this name? Caecilius?
Oh, yeah. Where do I know him from? Is it just Doctor Strange?
I know him from Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig James Bond movie. He was the
not
villain
James
in that.
Bond person.
Oof.
Maybe I know him from a commercial of a James Bond movie.
I feel like he just always plays the villain. I think he was in the TV show Hannibal. I didn't watch it, but I think he was in.
You know what? I did not watch it either, but I've definitely seen posters for it.
So many posters
around the grand city of Chicago.
Famously a poster town.
Yes, let's talk about Caecilius. I mean,
where does this rank? Because I think another thing that Marvel has against it is not great villains all the time.
No,
a lot of them are just really like serving a purpose for the story. Like the hero needs something to fight, to punch.
Yeah, he was like, this was all kind of confusing to me, just because he really was just like, he's like, oh, I'm trying to stop time so we're all immortal, but it's like, that like that doesn't sound good.
Was that who was doing that?
I think so. They were trying to get like absorbed into the dark realm where Dormammu rules and like Dormammu wants Earth. What's that?
Oh, I was just Dormammu.
Dormammu, which is like kind of looks like I don't know how I feel about the Dormammu like face. It wasn't that scary.
Dormammu is like if your air filter for your AC unit had a face and came to life.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Like a giant air conditioner unit.
What was that? Okay, isn't there like some video game with a little like ragdoll creature? He runs around, kind of looks like Groot, baby Groot.
Oh, this sounds
You know what I'm talking about?
Ratchet and Clank? Probably not.
No, it is absolutely not Ratchet and Clank. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to go into this. The point is he kind of looks like baby Groot, but like if baby Groot was rippling, like had
like literally rippling like a curtain, not like rippling muscles.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. So this bad guy who like serves Dormammu, it was like, I don't know. I just didn't care. I was like, you're just kind of stressful and you have these cronies that follow you around. And here's the thing that does have like, I have trouble watching any superhero movie. Mm-hmm. So much destruction, so much personal property getting destroyed. And I'm like, oh my, the Taurus in me is like, oh no, those are nice things. Stop. You broke a vase. Oh my God, how are you going to fix that wall? The money this is going to cost.
But in this one, because Doctor Strange has that time stone, he reverses the damage and puts the buildings back together.
And I can't tell you how just like good that felt personally. Like in my core, I was like, oh yes, thank you.
And yeah, that definitely is a thing that like they try to address in like their subsequent like series. I feel like that like the destruction of New York from the first Avengers movie, I feel like was the main plot for like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, all those shows.
And like Spider-Man Homecoming, they like that's how the Vulture was like
Michael Keaton. Yeah,
that was kind of his origin. So I do like that because it's like at least it's addressed. Yeah, but yes,
this Caecilius. I mean, I only wrote that he had like Hedwig and the Angry Itch makeup on for most of the movie.
That was like the only thing I liked about him. Yeah. I was like, oh, beautiful eyes,
gorgeous eyes.
That like purpley glitter.
Yes.
Here was my biggest problem with the bad guys. There's all this cool magic. And then, they have these glowing shields. They have these glowing like ropes. And then they use these like invisible air spears.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was the cool, like, come on, you could have come with something more cool than just like bent air.
It honestly felt like, are we losing money? Do we need to save on budget?
Yeah.
Invisible
so
swords.
I was like, okay, once in a while, that's a cool move. But like, that was their main go-to weapon. I was like, okay, well, boring.
I mean, agree. Like this movie, I am really just here for some Strange and Wong action.
Yeah.
Which leads me to talking about Wong.
Oh my God, Wong. Amazing character.
So good. But I was surprised with the amount of popularity for Wong in subsequent films. I was expecting a lot more from Wong in this first.
Right. He is really just like the not even the sidekick in this, because Mordo's more the sidekick at like in that fight scene. But I mean, Wong is just, I do love Wong's personality. There is in the subsequent films like a shift. He is much more fun and like outgoing. But I like that you kind of see that at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, I'm not going to be your buddy that quickly. What a fantastic character. Yes, very underutilized in this film, but it seems that they are correcting that.
Which
more so,
which we said seems to be Marvel is like, I do like this franchise. They're aware of like, man, we didn't do enough. Let's sprinkle this person in. Like, let's put Wong and Shang-Chi. So
yeah,
we get a little bit funner.
I do also like, he's like now just by technicality, the Sorcerer Supreme. Because I was like, why is Wong dealing with Shang-Chi at the end, not Doctor Strange? But it's like, oh, because Wong is in charge now.
Oh shit. Yeah. I didn't even put that together. Because I knew he said that in Spider-Man Far From Home, but yet he is already Sorcerer Supreme in Shang-Chi.
Yep.
And also, I love it. I honestly would just love like a Marvel mini movie where we just watch Wong discover the Beyonce discography and just go through all the Beyonce albums.
That scene. I could honestly watch Wong listening to Beyonce as Doctor Strange steals books from him through portals for like a good 10 minutes. Yeah. It was, I don't know. There's something about it.
And then the last character I really want to talk about is Mordo. How about we more don't?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Talk about rigid. He was so butthurt about Tilda using like, he was like, if you broke the rules, he was not happy.
Yeah. Like it's such a great, I love this kind of character though, who's like, he's so by the book that he turns evil because
that doesn't make, it doesn't, I was
crazy logic.
The crazy logic. So post-credit scene, he's like, I have now realized I gotta kill sorcerers. It's like, girl, what? How'd you get from like,
girl? So to combat all the sorcerers basically he's like, you're breaking the rules, so I'm taking your power back for me.
I don't know. But like I remember, so I've been like kind of rewatching the Spider-Man animated series, like slowly.
From the
there's
90s?
Doctor Strange episodes.
No way.
Yeah. Wow. And so Mordo is in those episodes. A couple of them actually. And first of all, Mordo is in those episodes a white man. So Disney, good job, I guess, on at least making the bad guy.
At least.
Yeah, he like serves Dormammu. So it's like interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. It's so crazy. First, I think I want to honor that Mordo is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, Academy Award-winning actor or nominated actor. He was the slave in 12 Years a Slave. And he was in, did you ever see Serenity, the Firefly movie?
Yes, a long time ago.
He was the bad guy. He was the operative that was trying to get Simon and River.
Oh, interesting.
And
it's been a while.
I love this man. And he was in Love Actually. He married Keira Knightley in the very first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh, okay.
I have a very invested interest in Chiwetel Ejiofor.
No. Look, he's hot. I was thinking about this. It's like Marry, Fuck, Kill, Wong, Doctor Strange, Mordo. I thought about this.
Okay.
I'd like to hear your take.
Oh, we're gonna get there soon.
Okay.
Actually, are we getting there now? I think so. But
I mean,
one thing I wanted to say about Mordo, even though this is about the Doctor Strange movie, but I wanted to get your thoughts just because I had forgotten how much of a threat he was at the end of this movie, because looking at the trailer for the sequel, I'm like not even thinking about him. So I'm like, do you think he's going to play a bigger part in the sequel based upon how the first one ended.
He definitely, like, we see him in the sequel. I mean, in the trailer, and it's so I have no idea what I cannot tell you how excited I am for Multiverse of Madness. Like,
it's gonna be good.
No Way Home was like my, like, what I was holding on to, and then it happened and it exceeded my expectations. And then I'm like, okay, next up, we've got Multiverse of Madness, and like just Mordo. I don't know what the situation is. He's definitely I don't think, is he gonna be the main bad guy? I don't know about that. I don't know if we need that, because it seems like there's so much more going on.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not. I don't think he will make things easy for Doctor Strange, is my answer to that.
Cool.
Yeah. I think I honestly, all I care about is Wanda. Scarlet Witch, baby.
Oh my God. It's great. Literally every time I record this, everyone brings up WandaVision. And
she's the best. Also, so apparently, and maybe like this isn't news, but this is related to Doctor Strange. So there were rumors that Doctor Strange was going to be in WandaVision. Like, that was like rumor that he was going to be in the finale. They ended up not doing it because they're like, let's focus on Wanda. This is her story. Like, we don't need him coming in. But apparently those commercials that we saw throughout WandaVision, like the Nexus commercial, the shark eating, like, it was Doctor Strange trying to get through to her and warn her and like tell her, like, and like try to be like, what's going on. So, and that, like, I think is confirmed that, like, yes, those commercials were Doctor Strange trying to break through.
Holy shit. Because those commercials never got explained. Like,
right. And so, like, I don't know if they will, and if it's just like, oh, that's like you need to know. Cause like, there's plenty of weird stuff that happened in Westview when, but like, very cool to think about it that way. And like, when you realize that, you're like, oh, Doctor Strange was trying to communicate and be like, Wanda. Yeah. So it also makes you feel like, good. At least the Avengers weren't completely ignoring the fact that one of their members is going through a crisis.
Seriously. But right now, Nate, we are in a crisis, and it's the crisis of fuck, marry, kill. Oh, the game we play at every episode of this podcast. So, and you already said it before, but our three selections, we've got Doctor Strange, Wong, and Mordo.
Wait, I did not know we were going to play this game, so that's really funny that I also.
I
just like thought about this. I was like, well, because I mean, I know you, Damon. I was like, Damon would be great for it. Like, we've played Fuck, Marry, Kill all the time.
I love playing this game. So when I got this podcast, I was like, of course we're going to play it.
Yeah, you have to.
That's so funny. But yeah, so those are my three selections for you. I'll go first to give you time to get your thoughts in order.
Yeah, I've thought about it a little, but I would like to hear yours because you might change my mind.
Okay. I mean, I'm really spitballing here. Let's see. Fuck, marry, kill. I gotta say, God, I know it may be Wong, but I'm going to kill Wong. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I did not see that coming.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. What have I done? I'm just realizing my choices now. Wait, change.
No, go with your gut. I want to hear this. And then, let the fans come for you.
Please. And then I'm going to fuck Mordo. Cause just take a little,
his name's Mordo though. So you should probably get it right if you're going to be screaming it.
Hey, it's only gonna be one night, whatever. And then I guess I'm going to end up in an unhappy marriage with Doctor Strange. Yeah, I really messed up.
So here's mine. I agree. I would also fuck Mordo. Now you've got it like Mordo.
Merlot.
You know what? I would fuck the bad guy. He's hot and athletic and just like has apparently a lot of anger. And like, I think he would really let loose in bed. I don't really have to you didn't ask for my reasons, but I'm giving them. Now here's where we differ. I would absolutely marry Wong. He is a provider. Wong has a good sense of humor.
Sure.
There's like, Doctor Strange is very self-centered. Doctor Strange is very like, he's good with magic. And that like has its own thing, but so is Wong. Like I don't think living with him. He told Christine we were barely lovers and then like tries and like has this watch with her inscribed on it. He is toxic.
What do you think that means, barely lovers? Like they hooked up at a Christmas party or like what?
No,
what does that
they
mean?
were absolutely dating. Yeah. I mean, like she got him a watch inscribed with her name. They did not hook up at a Christmas party
that he still wears.
And like it's also like the What If episode kind of implies like I feel like what if like they never broke up in a way and like I don't know, but there's clearly something more there. He had strong feelings for her. So I was like, saying that to her, I get he was in a very dark place, but I'm not taking that home with me for the rest of my life. That would be couples counseling every day, every Wednesday and Friday.
And I would say Nate Gold killing the lead of a film is very Nate Gold.
How did I kill the lead?
Because aren't you going to kill Doctor Strange?
Oh, killing the lead. I was thinking like burying the lead. I thought you meant like...
No. You did not bury the lead.
That is very mean.
Yeah.
That is very mean. We don't need Doctor Strange. Oh, his name's in the title? Great. Let's throw a wrench in this.
That makes him just easier to find. Cool. So that's Fuck, Marry, Kill. Do you have any other waning thoughts about Doctor Strange? I think I fit everything I wanted to.
I feel like I've said everything I want to. There were some cool little tidbits in here. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was a really fun movie. I really think I have high expectations that I think will be met for Multiverse of Madness. It seems so exciting, so fun. Yeah. I do like what they've made done with this character. And I am excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. And I'm just, about the Doctor Strange movie, I just think it's such a nice little memento for this character. I really have grown to like him. So it was really interesting to go back to the first movie, which I didn't like, and kind of like reevaluate how I feel about this character. And like I said, it just makes me more excited to see where we go next in this magical Marvel journey.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. This marvelous journey.
I mean, we think and we say, and that's how things go. Nate Gold, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at NZGold. That is both my Instagram and my Twitter handle. Yeah. And I'm sure you could also find me on Google somehow.
Oh, please. You're so Googleable. Any shows you want to promote? Any improv shows?
Well, the Damon's old alma mater, every Friday night at the Annoyance Theater in Chicago, I am part of a queer variety show where we have a bunch of queer performers do different acts, stand-up, music, sketch, and then we end with a fun improv set. And it is wacky and fun and very chaotic and very queer. So every Friday at 9:30 at the Annoyance.
Oh, and I can co-sign
Baby Wine. I don't think I said the name.
It's Baby Wine. As a former member, I can attest it's such a fun show, and I do miss ending my Fridays there. I'll tell you how. I have something to tell you, but it'll date the podcast, so we're not going to do it now. But yeah, love Baby Wine. I'm Damon Royster, your host. You can find me on Instagram at Dayman Royster, Dayman Royster. I'm also on Twitter at Damon Royster 88. We're bopping around. I'm doing stuff. Follow me and you'll find out about it. Thank you so much to our producer, Jordan Powell. Jordan, any final thoughts about Doctor Strange?
Well, I'm the last person to ask. I know nothing about any of it, but you guys did a good job. So.
Honestly, I'm in it for the grade. Thank you, Jordan.
I need that validation.
Oh, we're so needy. Thank you guys so much. This is Podcast 616. Have a great day. And always remember that with great power comes even greater responsibility.